Another Trump measure is blocked by the courts as judge rules against bid to strip sanctuary cities of federal cash. A federal judge on Tuesday blocked a Trump administration order to withhold funding from communities that limit cooperation with U.S. immigration authorities, saying the president has no authority to attach new conditions to federal spending. U.S. District Judge William Work issued the temporary ruling in a lawsuit against the executive order targeting so-called sanctuary cities. The decision will stay in place while the lawsuit works its way through court. The Trump administration and two California governments that sued over the order disagreed about its scope during a recent court hearing. San Francisco and Santa Clara County argued that it threatened billions of dollars in federal funding for each of them, making it difficult to plan their budgets. "It's not like it's just some small amount of money," John Kecker, an attorney for Santa Clara County, told Orrick, an Obama-era appointee to the federal bench, at the April 14 hearing. Chad Riadler, acting assistant attorney general, said the county and San Francisco were interpreting the executive order too broadly. The funding cutoff applies to 3 Justice Department and Homeland Security Department grants that require complying with a federal law that local governments not block officials from providing people's immigration status, he said. The order would affect less than $1 million in funding for Santa Clara County and possibly no money for San Francisco, Riadler said. Republican President Donald Trump was using a bully pulpit to encourage communities and states to comply with the law, Riadler said. In his ruling, Orrick sided with San Francisco and Santa Clara, saying the order by its plain language attempts to reach all federal grants, not merely the 3 mentioned at the hearing. The rest of the order is broader still, addressing all federal funding, Orrick said. And if there was doubt about the scope of the order, the President and Attorney General have erased it with their public comments. He said, federal funding that bears no meaningful relationship to immigration enforcement cannot be threatened merely because a jurisdiction chooses an immigration enforcement strategy of which the President disapproves. The Trump administration says sanctuary cities allow dangerous criminals back on the street and that the order is needed to keep the country safe. San Francisco and other sanctuary cities say turning local police into immigration officers erodes trust that's needed to get people to report crime. The order also has led to lawsuits by Seattle, 2 Massachusetts cities, Lawrence and Chelsea, and a 3rd San Francisco Bay Area government, the city of Richmond. The San Francisco and Santa Clara County suits were the first to get a hearing before a judge. San Francisco and the county argued in court documents that the president did not have the authority to set conditions on the allocation of federal funds and could not force local officials to enforce federal immigration law. They also said Trump's order applied to local governments that didn't detain immigrants for possible deportation in response to federal requests, not just those that refuse to provide people's immigration status. The Department of Justice responded that the city and county's lawsuits were premature because decisions about withholding funds and what local governments qualified as sanctuary cities had yet to be made. The sanctuary city order was among a flurry of immigration measures Trump has signed since taking office in January, including a ban on travelers from 7 Muslim-majority countries and a directive calling for a wall on the border with Mexico. A judge from the Ninth Circuit blocked the initial travel ban from 7 Muslim-majority countries, and appeal judges from the circuit also ruled against it. Trump suggested breaking up the circuit and said that it was notoriously liberal. Sanctuary cities have become increasingly contentious, with Attorney General Jeff Sessions issuing harsh criticism last week of cities including New York which generally refuse to cooperate with immigration authorities. The Trump administration has suggested that cities, counties or states which prohibit law enforcement from cooperating with federal immigration authorities would lose federal funding. Mayors from some of the cities affected met Sessions on Tuesday but emerged from the meeting saying they remain confused about how to prove their police aren't prohibited from cooperating with immigration authorities, a requirement for the money. The Justice Department has warned some jurisdictions that they could lose some law enforcement grant money if they don't prove their local police and sheriffs are able to share information with federal immigration authorities about the citizenship status of people in their custody. Sessions has labeled cities that bar such information sharing as sanctuary cities. We want all jurisdictions to enthusiastically support the laws of the United States that require the removal of criminal aliens, as many jurisdictions already do, Sessions said in a statement released after the meeting with representatives of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. But the officials who met with Sessions said practical questions remain about how to follow the rules. For example, does that mean a sheriff's department must tell Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, about an inmate's incarceration by phone? Or will an inmate's fingerprint information, taken by the jail and then shared with the FBI and ICE, be enough? And how long can a local jail hold someone for immigration authorities without violating their rights? We got more clarity than we've ever received, but we also have other thorny issues to sort through, said Jorge Lorza, the mayor of Providence, Rhode Island, after the hour-long meeting. It was the first time the delegation of mayors met with Sessions since the department sent 9 jurisdictions letters on Friday warning they would lose key grant money unless they document cooperation with immigration authorities. The jurisdictions, which include the state of California and major cities like Chicago, New York, and Philadelphia, were places the Justice Department's Inspector General previously identified as having barriers to information sharing among local police and immigration officials. Some disputed they met the sanctuary city title. New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu, whose city received one of the letters, said he provided Sessions with proof of compliance during Tuesday's meeting but remained stunned the city received a warning in the first place, as it drafted its policies in consultation with federal immigration and homeland security officials. The delegation also included mayors from Columbia, South Carolina, Gary, Indiana, and Austin, Texas. The meeting touched on a number of other concerns related to the Trump administration's immigration policies they said remained confusing. On a number of immigration issues, we hear very different messages from Homeland Security, DOJ and also the White House, Elorza said. Just give us clarity and please have one clear policy so we can know where we stand.